Morrison, one of his fellow MPs. Liberal Senator James Paterson has also been standing by patiently for us. James Paterson, thanks very much for your time. Let's start with the GST. This is a zero-sum game. The solution from Scott Morrison: dip into the federal coffers to make everyone happy. Your thoughts on that?
Morning, Tom. Oh, look, it's a really welcome announcement from the Treasurer this morning. States, Western Australia and others included, have been calling out for a fix to this system because it wasn't working in the way that anyone envisaged it would, and no one thought when it was announced and devised that any state would get down to just 30 cents in the dollar of the GST that they collect being returned to them. So putting a floor of 75 cents in the dollar is a really sensible, pragmatic solution to this problem that will ensure that no state is worse off and every state will be better off.
All right, I want to delve into what's sort of been dominating, I think, news cycles for a few days. The comments from David Leyonhjelm and response, obviously, from Sarah Hanson-Young. You're a bit of an advocate for free speech, I think it's fair to say. What did you make of this exchange, though?
Oh, honestly, Tom, I think the less said about this episode, the better. I think it has lowered the tone even further on federal politics, if that's possible. It contributes to lowering the standing of federal politicians and our political system in general. It's not a good situation to have senators hurling abuse across each other through the chamber, hurling abuse through the media at each other. So I regret that this has happened very much, and I wish we would all just move on.
I'll move on in a moment. Can I ask you one more question, though? Do you suspect that David Leyonhjelm doesn't worry too much at all about the publicity? Is there a silent majority out there cheering him on almost?
Oh, look, it's an interesting task to try and delve into Senator Leyonhjelm's mind, Tom. I wouldn't presume to do that. I don't know what he's thinking, except that I know he's never hated any media coverage he received over his career.
Fair enough. Let's go on to the National Energy Guarantee and where you sit on this. Another push from the Nationals, baseload power they want in there. What's your strength of feeling on the current National Energy Guarantee? From what you know about it so far, could you support it?
Well, Tom, the basic settings of the National Energy Guarantee are really good and really important. And what I'm looking forward to seeing are the final details that will inevitably come out of the COAG meeting early next month between Josh Frydenberg and the energy ministers at the state level. Because it's really important that we finally get this settled. It's really important that we don't let this continue to drag on. That policy uncertainty has wreaked havoc on the industry, the energy industry, over the last decade, and it's about time that we solved it.
Interesting you say that. Tony Abbott's words earlier this week, that you can't compromise on this. You win or you lose. Is that stuck in the past, that sort of political reasoning?
Well, I think a lot of Australians want us to solve it and move on. I don't think they want to hear us keep talking about it. They just want to see their power prices come down. And the sooner we get to do that, the sooner we deliver that, the quicker that they will thank us.
And on the Nationals' plan, more baseload power is what they've pretty insistent on right now. Would that be something you'd support, that a bolt-on to the NEG would work well?
I'd like to see the details, Tom. One thing which I'd be very wary of is further government interventions in the energy market that are interventionist. I mean, really, the mess that we've got ourselves in over the last decade has come from these ad hoc interventions in the market, government picking winners, whether it's renewables or others. I don't really want to see more of that. I'd much rather get the basic settings of the NEG right so that investors have certainty and confidence so they can invest in baseload power, thermal power generation, without being discouraged by the political risk that the system has presented in the past.
What's your take on how many in your party are mulling over whether to join the possibility of crossing the floor with the former Prime Minister?
I haven't canvassed that with my colleagues, Tom, so I've really got no idea, except that I think that if anyone can get a good deal out of COAG, it's Josh Frydenberg. If anyone can get a sensible, pragmatic deal out of COAG, it's Josh Frydenberg, and I look forward to seeing the details of that once that meeting finishes.
And you're happy with that process, that's going to get done there, and then the party room will basically need to tick it off? Some people are talking about the party room having been stymied. What's your take on that?
Well, it is a negotiation, Tom, so we can't send Josh Frydenberg in there with his hands tied behind his back. It wouldn't be much of a negotiation if it was. But Josh has been very clear that there's some very important principles that he will not compromise on. We will not increase the reduction of emissions that we agreed to under the Paris Climate Agreement of 26 to 28%. Some states and the Labor Party want us to increase that as much as 45%. We will not do that. As the BCA said, that's an economy-wrecking target. Many states want to have their own state targets that go above and beyond the federal government target. We will not agree to that. We will not incorporate that in the National Energy Guarantee. So with important principles like that set out, I'm confident that Josh can secure a good deal out of COAG that the party room will be happy to support.
That last one might be a problem for the states, but we'll see. James Paterson, thanks for your time today.
Thanks, Tom.